What are you... Shit! The hell did he go?
So it's a story we've seen done 1,000 times, from movies to comics to games, you name it. But Chris, do Telltale reinvent Batman into something fresh?
They don't reinvent it. It does feel like other kind of Batman films, Batman comics that you will have probably read and seen before, but it does offer quite a new dynamic to the man Bruce Wayne as opposed to Batman. I think I'd say about 75% of the game you are Bruce Wayne, which is something that's never been done before, and it kind of makes it almost a kind of like a LA Confidential style drama, to be honest, a kind of Goodfellas drama. It involves the mafia of Gotham, the kind of underbelly of it, the campaign for a mayor, and it gives you the options to how you want to play as Bruce Wayne. Like you see him everywhere, where he's like this playboy billionaire, but he's also got a heart, and you can either use that, you be that kind of character, or you can be the dick, the kind of arsehole. So it's quite different to what we've seen before, and the kind of bits that when you are Batman feel kind of second place to it, because there are moments where you use your detective skills, and I mean, I don't know if you've played Arkham Knight or even like so you kind of the way they do the recreate the scenes and the crime scenes, and how you have to be really smart with all that kind of stuff. They kind of do that, but it's very kind of laid bare, and it's very simplified, and it's not as great as I thought it might have been, but I guess the focus is on the Bruce Wayne character. So it's not a bad game by any means. It's quite different, but I think I was expecting more Batman, not more villains, but just more emphasis on the world and the characters of Gotham.
So what's the kind of brief plot overview, without kind of spoiling it, just, like 20 words, what does it encompass in the first episode, and does it look like it's gearing up to get any better? Not that it's bad, I just mean it's
I think they're setting up something. So basically, Bruce Wayne is the big financial backer of Harvey Dent, who's running for mayor, and the crime boss of one of the crime bosses of Gotham, Carboni. He's trying to sway Bruce Wayne for reasons which I won't say, but you can either choose to shake his hand or kind of push him away, and by doing whatever choice you do, it can bring up things from your past that you wish weren't true, and you don't know if they are true, but if they are, it's going to have big repercussions for the character of Bruce Wayne. So I'll say that, but I can't say I've seen this side of the story. It involves his parents, so it's something that you don't really see, and in most Batman things you'll see the same bloody parents' death. He's really upset about it.
Yeah.
The same kind of, but they've kind of gone exactly, yeah. They've kind of gone about it a different way, and that in itself's quite interesting.
We've read some performance issues on PC. I think they're more predominant on PC, but there are some on console I have read. I saw Adam actually tweeting the other night saying there was missing sound effects and stuff like that. Did you have any experience with that? And did it kind of ruin your experience or kind of hinder it in any way?
See, me personally, I didn't really experience anything that I thought was worthy of mention at this point. The Telltale games have got a kind of habit of playing up a little bit. There were a few moments, but I'm just going to see how the series progresses, and if it's a constant thing, then it needs to be addressed. With the kind of new engine that they're using for Batman and The Walking Dead season 3, this kind of thing shouldn't be happening. But I mean, for me personally, I didn't really experience anything worthy of mention. There was a few dropout frame rate issues at the very start. But other than that, no, I didn't really. It was okay for me.
Did you get a chance to try crowd play out at all?
I didn't know. No, I haven't used that yet. I'm gonna wait till it kind of comes into the mainstream a bit before it happens. I mean, it's a nice idea, but I don't think it's one that's particularly going to be kind of heralded as a new interesting feature. It just looks a bit not unnecessary. Just I won't be using it too much, but I will try it out because people want to know how it works. So
I'm more of a person to kind of play games myself. I think it's a good idea, and it's good for people who want to play with like their families or whatever. But I'm unsure about it just now. What about the characters? I think, is Catwoman in it yet? I've seen her in the kind of promo images. How do the kind of external characters work? Do they kind of interact well with Bruce or the world, or do they feel a bit forced, or how do they kind of come across?
So the characters are the main kind of characters in it are Catwoman. There is a character which I mentioned in the review, which I won't say who it is until you play it, but the way he is a part of this Batman universe is something I've not seen before. It's weird. They play him as a friend of Bruce, who's been a friend of Bruce for a long time, and I'll tell you once we finish recording who it is, because I don't want to ruin anything. But the kind of the main characters you've got, obviously Harvey Dent, and for people of the Batman universe know that he becomes Two-Face in the end, so we might see that happen. And then the crime boss, and Catwoman's in it at the very start. Other than that, there's not really anything. There's a few kind of there's in the Batcave you've got the kind of bat tech, and there's like the big desk with the computers on and stuff, and there's like a radio playing, and you do hear references to a fire at Ace Chemicals, which is obviously where the Joker fell into the vat of acid, that kind of thing. So we may see more characters. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need loads of characters, but I think people are just accustomed to seeing more than the same kind of characters. Like, for obviously Arkham featured Catwoman quite heavily. It'd just be nice to even reference or see a few more as the series goes on, which obviously that might happen. I've only played the first episode. It's only one down now, so there might be more. But the way they're introduced is very good, and it feels very natural, and it's good to see them. So I'm looking forward to see how that kind of goes on as the series progresses.
How are the decisions in the game? Obviously, Telltale games revolve around you making these kind of big, life-changing decisions. Are they kind of cutting? Do you feel kind of torn between them? Do they seem to fit with the story? How do they work?
I think the kind of main decisions are to do with how you act as Bruce Wayne, what kind of man you're going to be. So they're not cutting in terms of, like, obviously Walking Dead, you would either choose if someone lived or died. They're pretty like life changing decisions to make. At this point, it's more about how you're perceived as Bruce Wayne and what people think of you, and the other kind of good thing about the decisions was how people perceive Batman and what you do as Batman, because Batman won't kill anyone. He's that's one of his rules he lives by. Even though that he batters the shit out of people in everything he does, that people must be dying. But his kind of like thing is that he won't kill. So there's points in this game where you can choose to kind of use more force than necessary, and people notice. So that's quite a good side to it. Like, obviously Commissioner Gordon is quite close to Batman. He'll see things that you'll do, and that's quite a good like aspect to it, and we'll see how that progresses as well.
And compared to Telltale's other works, how is it stacking up so far? Is it better, worse than some other best?
I think in terms of what's come before, it's too early to tell in the mainstream. But I mean, when I was playing the first episode of, say, The Walking Dead, I was immediately hooked, and like The Wolf Among Us, I was hooked. This hasn't done that to me yet, but I think it is a slow burner. It does feel like a very kind of deep drama. So I'm sure it'll get better than it was. It is, but they're trying to do quite a lot. So it's just how that all balances out as the series goes on.
Yep, Chris's full review is available at GodisaGeek.com. You can read it all there. You can see his score, his positives, negatives, you name it, and you can decide for yourself whether you want to pick it up, if you want to buy another Telltale game. But that's all for today. Thank you very much, Chris.
No worries. Thank you very much, Greg.
Thank you.
Well then, time to save the city.
sure to back the GodisaGeek Patreon.